Hello everybody, my name is Mike and I want to start a new series where we're going to talk about sound systems, particularly sound systems for churches. But if you're working in a concert venue or in a club or something like that, there will be some helpful information here for you as well. I've got a lot of experience working in mostly churches, and one of the things that when I talk to pastors or music ministers or church leaders, that I get a lot is, I've got somebody who's really dedicated. They do the best job that they can. They've got a ton of heart, but they don't have a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding about what they're doing. And this may be you. And so if that's you, come with me on this journey and we're going to learn how to be a better sound person. If you've been doing sound for a while or maybe you're new at it, either way, I think you'll find useful and helpful information as we continue to delve in and expand on what we're talking about. Just to kind of lay some groundwork before we jump in, I'm going to do one video a week, and the videos are going to last somewhere in the 10-minute range, give or take a minute or two. I'm going to try to keep them right around that range and try to every week give you something that you can build on as we go on this journey. So I want to encourage you to if this is a little basic to begin with, stick with me. And if it's not, then as we go, you'll learn a lot. I promise it will be beneficial to you. So we're going to jump right in with the first lesson, so to speak. The first thing I want to talk about is there are 4 parts to every sound system. And it doesn't matter if the sound system is a little speaker, that's all self-contained in one thing, or if it's in the biggest concert that you've ever been to in a stadium or arena or something like that. The same 4 parts are in every one of those sound systems. So we're going to talk about those this morning. It's morning for me anyway. It might not be morning for you, but we're going to talk about these. The first one is input. The input, actually I'm going to tell you what they are and then we'll expand on them. So the first one is input. The second one is control. The third one is amplification, and the fourth one is output. So number 1, input. The input of a sound system is where the signal originates into the system. So that might be a direct box where you plug a guitar or a keyboard or something like that into, and then converts it to a mic signal and goes down into the system. That's an input. Another input may be your computer. It may be a microphone. Those are the main input parts. And that simply is where the sound starts into the sound system. So that is input. The second one is control. Control is everything that we do to manipulate the sound within the sound system. So that can be the mixing console, whether it be a teeny tiny one. I've got one here it's like 4 inputs. It's got a microphone input and a couple of line inputs, and that is it. It's real simple. That's part of control. On up to a large mixing desk that you would see in a large venue or concert like that. What that allows you to do is manipulate the sound. It allows you to control what the sound sounds like and where it goes as we route to different parts throughout the sound system. And so the mixing console, any equalizers, which of course a mixing console has equalization on it. The gain and volume controls. Now I know those are different. I may kind of use them interchangeably, but it allows you to adjust how much sound, how much level is in the system. Equalizers allows you to adjust how much level at different frequencies. You have system controllers that allow you to do things like send different parts of the signal to different parts of the system for various different reasons. Say you've got a foyer or lobby system, speaker system, and you want to send the sound out to that and adjust the volumes for that separately. That's part of control. And part of that part of the system. You hear words like crossovers, equalizers, limiters, anything where you are manipulating or controlling what the system, the sound is doing, is part of control. And so the control can be very broad, it can be very wide. There's a lot of different parts to it. We'll talk about those different parts as we get further along. Obviously in 10 minutes we couldn't even scratch the surface of control, so we'll be doing a lot of different videos on those. So we've got input, where the sound originates into the system. Second one is control, where we control the sound within the system. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I know that my mixing console has faders, and that's all I know about it, and that's all I know how to do. And if that's all you know how to do, I want you to stick around, because you're going to learn so much more about what you're doing and what the system does. It's going to be so beneficial to you as you learn primarily control. The third part is amplification. Now, amplification, when you think of amplification, usually you think you've got a loudspeaker and you've got to get the small signal that's in the mixing console to a big signal that moves the speaker. And that takes amplification. But even if you have in-ear monitors, you've got amplification. If you've got a distributed system, you've got amplification. There's a number of different places where you can have amplifiers. In old-time tape decks, when we would record that way, we had amplification because it would have to amplify the signal just a little bit to get it, and then magnetize it to get it onto the tape. And so even there we had it. But amplification is a key part. If you're just doing recording, you still have amplification because you've got fold-back monitors, you've got headphones, you've got things like that. So you do have that part in your sound system, even if it's a recording system. But it's not the key part. When you're talking about a sound reinforcement sound system, amplification becomes an even bigger and more crucial part of the system. So you've got input, you've got control, you've got amplification, and then the fourth part of any sound system, regardless of how big or how small it is output. And output is simply put, output is where I no longer can manipulate the sound. So that's at the speaker, because then I'm at the mercy of the room. I'm at the mercy of the acoustics in the room, or the temperature, the humidity. All these things can affect the output of a loudspeaker. The size of the speaker. Of an 18-inch woofer does not put out high end. So that's loudspeaker, and so I have to have different levels. And then I have to be able to manipulate that within the room, and that is done actually back at the control phase. But I've got loudspeakers, I've got recording devices. If you're recording multi-track, single track, two-track, whatever you're doing in a broadcast system, your output is going to be going into the broadcast system itself. Now, again, the key is I no longer have control. At the output phase, there's nothing I can do about it. Once I get to that point, there's nothing that I can do about the sound. I've got to do everything before the output. So on a recording, it may be the USB drive or whatever medium, the hard drive, whatever I'm recording to. For a room, it's going to be the loudspeaker. For a monitor system, it's going to be the headphones or earbuds or the floor wedges, which is another type of loudspeaker. Or so on and so forth. And so that is, in a nutshell, again, it doesn't matter if it's I've got a little speaker that's all self-contained, it's got an input jack, the amplifier's built into it, it's got little volume knobs, and it's got a speaker on the outside of it, and it's all in one box. It's literally about this big. It's not very large, it's not very complex, but it has all those four parts in it. Up to the biggest concert or system or anything that you've ever been to and you've ever seen still has only those four parts. You've got input, you've got control, you've got your amplification, and you've got your output. And we'll talk more in depth about each of these steps or each of these parts as we go along. And as you learn more about it, you'll learn why each part is crucial and why each part is necessary in a sound system. But that is lesson number 1. 4 parts of a sound system. Again, we'll be putting these videos out once a week, and so watch for the next one. As you watch these, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified about future videos when they come. Hit the bell so you can be notified. And I thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you again next week.